find my microphone. There it is. Call to order the October 3rd, 2018 regular meeting of the West Sacramento Port Commission and the Board of Directors of the Sacramento-Yolo Port Financing Corporation. So the commission did meet in closed session.
Yes, the commission met in closed session to confer with its real property negotiator concerning the two properties identified in the agenda. No action was taken.
All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Board Attorney. To lead us off in the pledge this evening, would you do the honors, Commissioner Roscoe?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Item 1 is presentations by the public on matters that are not on the agenda. I do not have any slips to speak. So we'll dispense with item 1. Item 2, we have 2 consent agenda items.
Move approval.
We have a motion for approval with a second by Commissioner Ledesma. Motion made by Commissioner Cabaldon. Got that one. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Regular agenda item 4 is consideration of proposed organizational modifications and budget adjustments. Mr. Laurel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this item is something that we've been wanting to bring forward, considering some of the changes in the city organization that have affected the port, namely the main one being that now that I'm in the city manager, port CEO role, this goes back to kind of a history of how the port was organized within the city organization. So in 2006, the port, it's been through different departments, but the common thread along those lines has been there's always been a director in the middle of the port CEO and then the port manager position. That has changed over time with the departments, but with the most recent change in the city organization. So previously, I was that director in the economic development housing position that was overseeing the port, had the port manager reporting to me in that position. Now that we made the change and I carry with that history into the port CEO role, all the background on having done that work. But in the meantime, the port manager position has also evolved. The port manager has taken on much more of an active role in budgeting, real estate negotiations, much more today than was the case in 2013, let alone in 2006. So with all that in mind, we are proposing a slight organizational change to the way the port is structured within the city organization, but also a change to recognize the current role of the port manager position and the expectations that I have going forward as the port CEO. So I'm gonna step through, and if you direct your attention to the second page of the staff report, just to hit the recommendations that I'm proposing for tonight. Sorry. Oh. Okay. So first, want to point out the table that shows where the positions are allocated. So right now, the port manager is covered 100% by the port. Half of the EDH director, the economic development housing director, was covered by the port. And then there was also a secretary position that was covered. So what we are wanting to do is move the port under the city manager's office from its current place in the economic development housing department. And that's mainly because of that change. It doesn't make sense, frankly, to have a director position overseeing the port manager when most of that work is directly working with the port CEO. Second, we would modify the port manager position and then add a port chief operations officer position. So it'd be a COO position that would be a direct report to the city, to the port CEO, and really function and in the role that takes care of the daily operations and all the budgeting and overall management of the port without that director intermediary. And then third would be to redirect the budget allocations that are currently going to the economic housing director and secretary positions. We would have to shift those to another city fund. However, that's mostly a budget neutral modification. It just has to do with this, when on the city council side, how we allocate those positions, and that'll be a decision the city council will be presented with. So for the Port Commission tonight, really just wanted to get the Port Commission's approval of the modifications that we would then take to the city council. The main one being the change to the Port COO position. It has a net increase of about $13,000 of annual costs to the port, which would continue to fund that position 100%. So I think I'll stop there. It's pretty well laid out in the staff report and see if there's any questions.
All right. Are there any questions by members of the commission?
I was going to move it, but I did, because I'm supportive of it. This level of administrative decisions, I think lies with the CEO and the manager. Just as it goes forward, though, I would to the city, I would encourage you to take a look at the appropriate allocation between the port CEO and the city manager's office itself, because it's a fairly significant change to go from not billing any of the CEO to billing half. And if we're going to do so, I think we'll have to make the right agreement with the city that the city manager is going to be half-time on the port or something, or the city manager works double time or whatever, and a quarter time on the port, whatever. Exactly. But let's get that right.
Okay.
I know the city, because of the city's relationships with its subsidiary districts and what have you, will be interested in that. And if that means providing additional support through the city manager's office item as opposed to the CEO, I think that might be an appropriate way to handle that.
Absolutely. And there may be fluctuations in the amount of time spent depending upon what's happening. So we're not going to figure it out here, but I concur. Good changes, that makes sense.
So, yeah, I'd move it.
All right, any other questions?
I'm sorry, just to be clear, so you're asking to move it with the recommendation that we'll review with the city what that 50%, because that's kind of my concern too, is that.
Right, we'll review the allocation specific to the port CEO or the city manager position and take a look at other options with maybe just general support to the city or city manager's office as an alternative. So we'll bring that to the city council with that comment.
Okay. So this isn't ironclad here, because that's the next step. I just want to be clear.
This tonight, this is getting the Port Commission's authorization to proceed on a budgetary basis, that there is a $13,000 increase to the port's personnel costs resulting from this. So technically, it's a budget amendment for the port budget to deal with that modification of the personnel costs. But the rest of it is really what the port's direction or request is to the city council.
So I would just to clarify the motion, what the staff recommendation as you've described it, and with the direction with respect to the port CEO, city manager percentages, and with the concurrence of the chair as you proceed to the next stage before it goes to the city council.
Oh, sure.
Perfect.
We can do that.
That's good enough. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. So with that, we do have a motion. We have a second by Commissioner Johansson. All those in favor, assuming no other questions, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so that motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much, Aaron, for that. Item 5 is commission reports. Anybody with any reports to provide to the rest of the commission? Seeing none. Port CEO report?
No report tonight.
No reports. We're looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Cavalden, second by Commissioner Roscoe. All those in favor say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.